In this session, I will show you how to process a technician's invoice for them while they're on site. Some technicians aren't able to process an invoice due to either not having internet connection or another reason. You may access the Techsite by the link provided to you, or you can simply go to our geeksontheway.com homepage and click on this top button right above the locations. It will then bring you to the Geeks on the Way tech site where you can log in to the technician site. You can do so by entering the first initial of their name and then their complete last name, and do the same for their password. For this sample, we're going to use D Technician. You can also bookmark this site so you have access to it for future reference. Here, this is the actual appointment that we're going to process. Always confirm with the technician the first and the last name of the client's home that you're at, and click on the Process button on the right-hand side. We do need to have an email address for the client in order to send them a copy of the invoice and for the invoice to process correctly. Once you've confirmed the email address for the client, you want to enter in the work performed for what he's done on site and make sure that you have all the details required. For this appointment, it says supply and secure wireless router, all-in-one printer needs to get set up, and client is also having virus warnings on the computer. So you want to confirm with the technician all the details that he's actually fixed. If there's any wireless router setups, always make sure to get the wireless password and the username. This information is important because if clients don't have their password or if they need to access it again, we'll always have it for future reference for them on file. Make sure to be mindful of spelling and punctuation. Sugar, as well as the text site, does not like to have a lot of apostrophes or punctuation. Once all of the notes are complete, hit the refresh button. Every time you hit the refresh button, that will save your information in the Techsite. Next, you will be selecting the labor for the technician. Pick the line item that best describes the work that was completed at the appointment. Once you select a line item, hit the refresh button. Every time you hit the refresh button, it will save your information and populate a new line item. Confirm the amount that the technician is going to bill to the client, and as well confirm the rate. If it's for a residential call, the rate is $88 per hour. For corporate desktop, the rate is $98, and for any work that's done on servers is billed out at $128. For this appointment, we're going to call it a residential service call. Hit the refresh button once again, and it will calculate the subtotal as well as the tax. Since the technician has supplied the client with a wireless router, we want to add that to the invoice using the hardware and software dropdown. Hit the refresh button and it will add another line item to the invoice. You may also click the Add to Invoice button as well. Of course, the quantity is 1. And here, underneath each line item, you can also put more description of each line item for the client. For example, model numbers or RAM type, you can enter that in for them as well. Confirm the price that the technician is going to charge the client for the router or any other hardware. And once again, hit the refresh button. Once you have the appropriate amount that the technician will be charging, confirm the method of payment. For residential service calls in Canada, we accept Visa, Amex, MasterCard, and cash. For residential calls in the United States, we accept Visa, MasterCard, and cash. We do not have an Amex account for the US. For any corporate calls, they may of course pay by credit card, cash, or they have the option to pay on account. Once we select the method of payment, then all three checkboxes here will be green. We need to always make sure to have the currency, the method of payment, as well as the email address for the client. For this appointment, I will show you how to process a Visa. If the client has a Visa, Amex, or MasterCard, select the appropriate credit card and hit the refresh button. Since all three check boxes are checked off and in green, we know that we can process the invoice. If everything is complete, hit the confirm and send button. Once you hit the confirm and send button, this will bring us to our secure website where we can enter in the credit card number and the expiration date. Once you have this information complete and you've read it back to the technician, hit the OK button. Only hit the OK button once because the amount of times you hit the OK button is the amount of times the client will be charged. Since we don't have a credit card to process this transaction, I will explain what will happen next. Once you hit the OK button, only once, it will bring you to a secondary window to confirm the amount. Once you hit that OK button in the second window, you will be brought back to the original Techsite for the technician. For this appointment, we're going to actually select cash as the method of payment. So once by clicking on the List My Active Sessions, you can go back into the actual invoice by clicking on the Process button, and all of the original information is stored. If the client is paying by cash, we need to select the appropriate method of payment and hit the refresh button. Once again, the invoice is ready for processing. Hit the confirm and send button, and here we have check payment, cash payment, check the amount and click OK. If this amount is correct, hit OK.